Morning children, Krishna ma'am here. We are learning chapter We Are Not Afraid to Die If We Can All Be Together, written by Gordon Cook and Ellen East. Now today will be the last part of that chapter. What did we learn till yesterday? Yesterday we were learning what happened to them in January 2nd. They had a terrible time, they had a very bad time fighting. They had a war with the sea on January 2nd. So what was the consequence of their war with the sea? They managed to take the water out. They managed to pump the water out of the boat. And now, let's see what the book says. By morning of January 3rd, they could pump. They could means the narrator along with the two crewmen. They could manage to pump out so much of water that they could be relieved. And when they were relieved, finally they managed to take rest. They managed to take a nap, turn by turn, for 2 hours each. There were 6 of them, so they managed to take rest for 2 hours each in turn. Okay, but still, the danger done by the waves, the danger done by the storm was so much, so extensive that it could not be in the same way. So they have to do something now. And the main ribs reframe was smashed down to the keel. Now what is the keel? The drawing of the boat is not here. The keel is a small wooden or metal part at the bottom of the boat, which helps the boat in keeping the balance in the sea. It will not tumble down. It will keep balance because of the heavy weight. So it was damaged up to that part. The boat was smashed there. So till January 3rd, what did he write? That we had survived 15 hours since the wave hit. So till that time, the boat helped them stay on the boat and survive on the boat in the wave for 15 hours. But it was not so much strong that they could take it up to Australia, because that was the next continent from there. So it was not able to take them up to Australia. So they have to get in between somewhere. So what did he decide? So finally he looked into the chart and he saw that in that ocean, southern Indian Ocean, there was the nearest island. The nearest island was small, 2 small islands. One was Isle Amsterdam, and it was very, very small one. So what did he write? Was French scientific base, and that was the only hope. And the hope to reach there was like pinpricks in the vast ocean. Now what is pinpricks? Pinpricks in the vast ocean means like a point of pin in the vast ocean. And here they refer to this. Context means here they refer to the island. The island in this vast ocean is like a pinpoint. Children, the ocean was almost 150,000 kilometers wide, while the island itself was only 65 kilometers wide. So just imagine so much of wide ocean and a very small island. So it was like pinpricks in the vast ocean, but that was the only hope for them. Somehow they have to take the boat up to that island. They have to reach there. Because the main mast was also the sail mast. Main sail mast was also destroyed, and the main thing was that the auxiliary engine was out of action. The main engine was out of order, and the auxiliary engine, they had spare one for them, even that was out of order. So that is what happened to them in January 3rd. Okay, they were unable to make it to Australia, so they have to decide to take the boat to Isle Amsterdam. Now let's come to January 4th. January 4th. What happened that day? After 36 hours continuous pumping, we reached the last few centimeters of water. Okay, so but still by that time they could not sail the main mast because that was destroyed. So they had to hoist the storm jib, the small storm jib they had, and that storm jib would let them manage the boat, manage the sail up to Isle Amsterdam. They have to use the sail somehow. Without that, they cannot sail into the ocean. So they hoist the storm jib. Okay, but even that was very short. And that day in first, they had their first meal in 2 days. Since last 2 days they could not have any meal because the situation was very bad for them. They faced almost near death situation those days. But that day they had the first meal in 2 days. That was corned beef and some crackers they were having. In the reserve they had that. But even that was short-lived because at 4 p.m. situation changed again. What did happen? How? The weather changed for the worst. It changed for the worst and black clouds began building up again. Now, what was the black cloud? Children, do you remember what was the black cloud on January 2nd? That was a great wave. They have overclouding them on over the ship. So that cloud came again and the wind was very, very heavy. The wind was very strong. It was almost 40 knots. It was blowing almost 40 knots, so it was difficult for them to control the boat. And the seas with the rising wind, the seas were getting higher and higher also. And the weather continued to become worse throughout the night. Throughout the night, the weather did not get better. Instead, it became worsened. So, the night passed by the time by January 5th, early morning, they almost lost their hope. So, that day, and they had a fear of death. Okay, fear of death loomed them that day. And the narrator was under stress because he was having his whole family with him. He was having 2 other crewmen with him. So he has to think of the life of all those people. So he was under stress. So that day he went to his children's cabin again. He went there to talk to them. And that was the day which was a turning point for them. Why it was turning point? Because when he went there to comfort his children, he was almost spellbound. He was spellbound by what Jonathan said to him. He never ever imagined that such a small boy of 6 could say those miraculous words to him. And what were those words? The boy asked jokingly, Father, Papa, are we going to die? He could not reply. The way he asked, he could not reply. Then Jonathan told Papa, don't worry, I'm not afraid to die. He told his father that till all of them are together, there's nothing to worry. He is not afraid to die. Just let us all stay together and we have no fear of death. So he was very impressed with what Jonathan told, and that energizes him. The thing that Jonathan said to him, that was a turning point in his life. In his life, in the sense that that day he almost lost hope. He almost thought that they are going to die now. But when Jonathan says that we are not afraid till we all can be together, so don't worry. So that gave him an energy, and he started to plan. He started to find some way out to repair, to do all those things from again and again. So Okay, so what did he do? To improve those things, he took the anchor of heavy nylon rope and two 20 liters plastic barrels of paraffin. So he planned many things. He did all he could with the resources he had. With all those things, he planned everything he could to save the boat in the storm. But that evening, but the thing still did not get better. So that evening, he sat on the deck along with his wife Mary. They held holding hand together, and they were desperately sitting there. Why were they desperate? They were desperate that he knew that in spite of doing everything, in spite of using all the available resources, he was not able to do much. Because he knew that death is near now. But what happened now? That night passed. Now what happened on January 6th? January 6th again brought out a turn in the incident. Okay, the storm got better. It eased out. And with what his children told him, he got an inspiration from his children because they were very brave, they were very courageous. So he did not give up. He got an energy, he got up and he went into the chart room. He went in the chart room and he worked with all the winds, with all the drift and current and all those things to calculated to see the position of the boat in the sea. So he studied in the sextant. Now what's sextant? Sextant is the instrument for measuring the wind speed. And after that what he calculated that the island he planned to reach, that is Isle Amsterdam, that was only 65 kilometers wide, and the ocean he was in, that was 150,000 kilometers. So there was big difference. But while he was thinking, while he was calculating all those things, while he was seeing the sea position, Sue came. Her head was swollen so much that it worried him. But still, she comforted his father, and she gave a card. She made a card with some caricatures. Now, what is caricatures? Caricatures, some drawing the cartoon characters, that is caricatures. So she drew some caricatures of Mary and the narrator and gave it to her father, and she told, see, these are some funny people I know who make me laugh. And she gave the card to her father, and there was a message. The message is so beautiful that it energizes and enlivens her. What did she write there? The message there was to express her love, gratitude, optimism, and good wishes for her father. And it meant to energize his father also. So when he got the card, he got up, he checked and rechecked, and he did all the calculation again. And after that he guided his crewmen about the position. And at about 2 p.m. he went to the deck and asked Larry, that is one of the crewmen, to turn the boat to 185 degree. Take that angle of 185 degree. And he told that if we are lucky enough, by taking this turn, we will reach to Isle Amsterdam. And that was 2 p.m. At 2 p.m. he told that if you take this angle, if you take this turn, perhaps by 5 p.m. we will be able to tap Isle Amsterdam. He told, because that was the only thing he could do. He told this, but after that, he went to take a dose because he has almost lost his hope now. So he went to doze off, and he just left it to his luck that if we are lucky enough, we will be able to tap this island, because his all this campus, everything was not also working. So he could just do the estimate calculation. So he went to sleep, and at 6 p.m., can you imagine what happened? When he opened his eyes, his children were standing in front of him, and he was surprised to see that it is 6 p.m. And he thought in his mind, the isle must have been left behind, because I estimated it to reach at 5 p.m. It's already 6 p.m. It must have gone behind now. But the children came and said they were in a very, very happy mood. And they told Papa, can I hug you? He was surprised. They were very happy. And then they told Papa, you're the very lovely father. You're the best daddy in the world. And after that, he went to the deck. And what did he see? He was surprised. He was surprised because he could see the Isle, Amsterdam, there. And from that, so around 6 o'clock, they reached there. They reached at the isle. It was just a bleak piece of volcanic rock. It was not a beautiful island, because usually children, if we say island, we have a beautiful imagination in our mind that it's very beautiful with all of greeneries and blue sea and all those things with flowers. But it was not like that. Isle Amsterdam was just a volcanic rock with very little vegetation. But for this family, for the whole 6 people over there on the boat, it was like a piece of heaven. It was the most beautiful island in the world. Why? Because it gave a ray of hope to them. It was only the hope for survival for these people. And finally, when they were able to tap on this island, when they were able to lay their feet on this island, they knew that they got their life back. There is no fear of death now. So children, when the fear of death is gone, that is magic, that is miracle, and that is heaven. So for them, that was the most beautiful island in the world for them. They got down there, and they were welcomed by 28 inhabitants of those islands, local people of Ireland. They were very naive and innocent people. They welcomed them in the cheerful manner, and they stayed in that island a few days until they repaired their boat and headed for Australia. Children, they could not complete their world voyage at that time. And after many years, Captain Gordon Cook had been awarded also for his bravery in surviving so much heavy storm and in managing to save life of 6 people on the boat. So he had been awarded many years later, I think in 2009 or something. Okay. So now let's come back to the story again. So they stayed there along with 28 inhabitants there, and they had a good time because they were good people, and they repaired their boat and went to Australia. When they were in Australia, Suzanne, she had 6 minor operations for the head injury, because that was not a small injury she was having. She was such a brave child, she was such a mature girl that she never let her father know that the injury was hurting so deep that later when they were on land, she had to undergo 6 minor operations. And that was 6 minor operations because there was small clotting. There was small clotting of blood between the skin and the skull. So that was the story of a very brave family. And a 6-year-old boy, 6-year-old son, Jonathan, he played a very beautiful role. Very beautiful role because of what he said. there was a turning point in the story, and he got life inside himself. The story tells us that usually sometimes when adults they give up and they could not work out what to do. They could not see any way out. When we have mature children, when we have intelligent children, when we have courageous children, in that time of desperation, the children, they showed them a way out. The children, they gave them a hope. And so this is a story, and I hope you will all enjoy the story, and you will all read the story again. When you read the story again, perhaps you will be confused because of the events, but what I suggest and repeat again, note down the event according to the date. According to the date, that is after the journey has started. Initially, you can split it into initial parts, why the journey was taken, and you can make small notes about the boat, okay, and who all were the traveler, who all went on the voyage. And after that, when they are into the journey, just note down the event according to the date. Date-wise, the event would be very easy for you. So good luck for you, children. See you again in the next video, in the next chapter. Till then, have a very good time. Thank you for listening to me. Bye.